Alright, Jason, Hollis Farms today. It's raining straight down. But anyway, I'd come to town to upload a video, and I was trying to kind of figure out what I was going to film today. But I put out 3 or 4 racing videos, 4 or 5, whatever, how many it is now. And I thought I'd give a little history on my background on the racing. I guess I was about 17, 18, 19 years old, whatever it was. I had a buddy of mine that had an uncle that was racing. He had raced years ago and quit and was getting back in it, and I got to going with him. And I had never been around racing much at all. All we had ever done is hunted and played ball and roofed. And I really got to liking it. And at the time, I sure didn't have no money to be racing. Not that I do now, but I sure didn't then. But anyway, my buddy, he had played with a 4-cylinder a few years before. I was sitting here trying to think what it was. I believe it was a Pontiac Sunbird, which had basically a little Chevrolet motor in it. So we drug it out of the woods, and it took a little while to piece it back together. Had a bunch of people help build the motor and kind of got back going. Well, we started going, and back then there wasn't a whole lot of 4-cylinder classes wherever you went. So a lot of times when I went racing, I ended up racing with like the old street stock class, and I'd be in the 4-cylinder. So we run and run. I got a little better and was learning, and ended up winning my first race. I was in, I believe it was in Shannon, Mississippi, and I was actually racing against the V8 cars. Y'all excuse me, I'm looking at my video uploading. I actually won and was racing against the V8 cars, and kind of pissed quite a few of them off, but I was pretty excited then. I run the 4-cylinder for a little while. And then I ended up with a Chevelle running what they called a wide-tired street car. It was an older Chevelle, the big-bodied Chevelle. I think we was running I think that thing had a stroker motor in it, a 383. Wasn't supposed to be running that. So I started early cheating and run it a while. We run the wide tires on it like you run on the late models. I run it for a little while, and then I went somewhere and saw these IMCA open wheel modifieds run, and ended up, I'd run that Chevelle for a couple of years, and then Johnny Stokes here in Columbus, Mississippi, he had fooled with them open wheels a little bit through his late model career, had built a few and stuff like that. So he ended up building me my first open wheel. We ran it for a few years. The class wasn't even around here where we're from. My closest place at the time was in Pike County Speedway. It's down in Macomb, Mississippi. We used to drive down there. It was about a 4-hour drive. We'd drive down there every Saturday night, and just struggled and got better. You tear up a bunch of stuff when you first get started, and ended up, we'd go to Talladega. They started running them over there, and run that car for a little while. And then I ended up calling Dirtworks race cars, which are in, where are they at? It's up in Missouri. I can't remember where they's at now, but anyway, I got to know the guy that was designing the cars, Rex Merritt, and he's one of the best there's ever was, and really got to know him. My first Dirtworks was actually one of Rex's cars. Bought it and really got to running good when I got Rex's cars. I don't know if I ever had I may have had 1 or 2 new Dirtworks. I run the open wheels for years. But Rex really helped me. I mean, I really got to win in a lot of races. One year out here at Columbus Speedway, before I started traveling, I think I won 31 out of 32 shows out here at Columbus. Just give all the credit to Rex and them, because they just really helped me. And I got to buying cars, used cars from up there at Dirtworks, and I'd bring them home. We were selling them around here, and really built the class. And then I got to traveling. I mean, we was going to, I've raced in Tennessee, of course, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma. Can't think where else. But anyway, I really got to traveling and trying to race where Rex was a lot of times, and just really trying to get out and learn where these cars were, and traveled for a long time. And then I ended up, I had several Dirtworks cars. Then I ended up getting trying to think which one I had first. I ended up with Shaw cars out of Arkansas and GRT out of Arkansas. I had both of them at the same time at one time. Really got to be good friends with Mike Bowers. Really good race car driver. I mean, a really good race car driver. Got to running around with him. He helped me a lot. I ended up with a Shaw car. Kevin Shaw and them out there, just great people. Really good race car. I would go really good in the slick in the Shaw car. The GRT around a lot of these more stop and go tracks is what I like to run. It did a lot better. There at the end, when I quit, I had a little toter home, a little motor home deal built on a Peterbilt, and I hauled 2 cars with me. And I mean, we'd leave on Thursdays. I'd get through roofing on Thursday and get in the truck and go, and we'd race Friday, Saturday, wherever we could race. Sunday, I'd get in Sunday evening and go back to work on Monday. So run those cars for years and years around here, traveling to the bigger shows, just trying to get better and trying to get better. There towards the end of my racing, I drove for a guy down in South Mississippi. All I had to do pretty much was load up in my pickup truck and drive down there and get in the car. Sometimes it'd be a little aggravating, because a lot of times when you drive for these people, the car may not be worked on or maintenance like you do it yourself. Get kind of aggravated. Sometimes you'd get down there and you'd have to overhaul the car at the racetrack because something didn't get done or something fell off. They didn't check bolts, and could be aggravating. You know, it didn't cost you nothing, but you had a couple cars sitting at home. It was awful hard sometimes to go do that, because regardless of whose it was, mine there, I was there to win, and just about too competitive, but that was the only way I knew to do it. All the years of playing ball and everything, I was there to win. And then I had a guy for a little while that used to send me a plane ticket and flew me to Texas, and we raced out there. That was pretty fun. I could get on a plane Saturday morning or Friday morning, race Friday, Saturday night, and I'd be back at the house on Sunday. That was pretty fun. Did a lot of traveling, got to know a lot of people. A lot of people helped me through the years. Of course, you get a guy helping you, and you get to running with him, and then you get to catching him. The help slows down because he don't want you passing him. But just a lot of good help, a lot of good people over the years. Been knowing Lee Ray for years. We run a grant round together for a long time, raced together for a long time. I've been out of it for now about, I think we figured up it had been about 11 years. I mean, when I quit, I'm not a spectator. When I quit, I went to the house. I sold all my cars and all, and I had enough stuff probably to build nearly 2 or 3 open wheels besides the cars I had when I quit. And Lee Ray sold all my stuff. I told him, I said, you get what you want, what you can use, the rest of it, sell it. It's kind of funny. Every time I see somebody over them 10 or 11 years that gets talking about racing, it kind of gets in your blood. It's about as bad as this turkey hunting, and y'all know how much I like that. You start talking about it, and I talk about going, and I just wouldn't go because I knew what would happen. And over the past few months, I've been talking to Lee Ray some, and he was building a new car, and of course my mind gets to spinning, and I go watch him a couple times, and I sure these days hadn't got the money to race like I used to when I was roofing and didn't have all these youngins and stuff, but I really like this street stock class. It's pretty expensive, but boy, they race. The cars are a lot like when I first started running the open wheels. Fairly simple, very competitive. I like the crate motor that we're running. Things have changed a ton in 11 years. The way they're setting the cars up and the way they're rolling through the corners, the cars just really drive unreal. So, as y'all seen in my videos, I'm kind of back in it. It's taking me a little while to get back in the groove. Okay, it's killing me right now. I have to back up, and I know y'all know how busy I stay at the farm and all. I'm trying not to get back to where I was. I just want to go have a good time and fun, but you start running third, fourth, fifth, tear up a couple of nights, as competitive as I am and as much as I want to win, it gets kind of hard not to get back in it like I used to. Really can't get back in it like I used to. Got Cody and the girls. Cody's riding bulls, the girls playing ball and stuff, so I'm gonna probably just run mostly at Magnolia over there. They run about every other week. That's fine with me. I do want to run at our old track over there. They run it some, and I'd like to travel just a little bit, you know, maybe do more down the road, but I'm telling you, when I sold out, I still had that old fire suit and my helmet. I had bought that orange helmet just before I quit, and that's all I had left. I mean, I didn't even have a jack to carry to the racetrack, and it's hard to get back in because things cost a lot more than they used to, and back then didn't have as many people depending on me as they do now, and not as much going on like with all the kids and all. So it's gonna take a little while to get back in. I really appreciate Lee Ray letting me drive his old car. There is not a better person in the world than Lee Ray and his daddy, Mr. Bobby. I enjoy being around them, fooling with the cars just as much as being at the racetrack. I mean, that's just a lot of fun. When I wiped the car out last time, I ended up over at Lee Ray's shop, and that's where we fixed it, and the car stayed over there for a couple of weeks, and I enjoy just as much going over them, piddling on the cars and whatever we might be doing as I do the racing. But just wanted to give y'all a little background. Thought y'all might be curious on kind of what I used to do. I mean, I remember a time when, man, I don't know how many races we'd run in a year. It's liable to be, I don't know, 60 or 70. We used to, if somebody was racing, we was there and enjoyed it a lot. And that, to me, that was the only way to learn, was traveling. I was racing again. There when I quit, I would unload, and lots of the people I was racing against did it for a living. I had roofed all week, plus worked on the car, then traveled out there. Most of the time I went by myself. And a lot of these guys I was fooling with, that's all they did all week, was fool with the race cars, and they race for a living. So, but if you was going to get better, that's who you had to race against. And when you came home, you could do pretty good, because you're only as good as your competition. But anyway, just a little history and background, a little bit more on my racing. Brian raced for a little while. He run an open wheel for a while. My dad, he had a four-banger for a little while, and ran a super late model for a little while. But I was the crazy one that started all this racing. And it looks like I'm back in it, but I'm gonna try not to do as much as I used to. I'm pretty happy going out there to the Magnolia Speedway. I love that place. That's my favorite track in the world. Pretty content with going out there every couple of weeks. You know, I may bounce around a little bit depending on what we got going on. My wife and them and Cody's loving it, so that means a lot. I really don't want to do anything that they don't like being a part of. That's just where I'm at in my life. But they do enjoy coming out there. Cody loves it. So we're gonna keep dabbling with it, and You know, thanks to Lee Ray. If it wasn't for Lee Ray, I wouldn't be back in one right now. We may ease back in it and do a little more. I don't know. I kind of knocked around on a new car. Probably not. I'm going to play with Lee Ray and keep running his old car. We'd like to talk back and forth and kind of figure out how to go faster. It's really fun fooling with somebody like that doing that. But anyway, just a little history on the racing. If y'all like our stuff, subscribe to us. Hollis Farms. Hats, t-shirts, and stickers. HollisFarms.com. Appreciate y'all watching. Out of here.